Everyone. Well, we finally made it to week 10. So this week we're going to take a look at a couple of things, some of which are going to be kind of exciting and some of which maybe not as exciting, but they're kind of important. The first one we're going to look at is norms and standards, and what norms and standards are there around the world that are being used to govern how data is stored or what data is stored and what organizations are allowed to store in regards to kind of customer information. So that'll be one of the topics that we look at. Another one of the topics that we're going to look at, which is a little more exciting and kind of cutting edge, is the Internet of Things. And as we get all of these smart machines or internet-enabled machines, like things like furnaces and other appliances that plug into the internet, alarm systems, things that can tell your TV when to record and what to record, and those kinds of things. What kind of data is that creating? What kind of data is that storing? And who has access to that data? And also, are there any opportunities for people who want to cause harm to utilize those internet connections to get access to things they shouldn't have? And then the last thing we're going to take a look at is something called the GDPR, which is the General Data PR's privacy regulation. It was implemented by the European Union about a year ago, and it governs what organizations can actually keep in regards to customers and customer information. And it's a pretty broad, sweeping, and widely applied policy that is really making some differences. It's really changing things up. If you're an organization that does business with European customers and you have typically stored European customer information, you now are quite limited on what you can actually keep and store in your databases in regards to European customers. So there'll be some talk about that. Now, for this week, you'll have a discussion board, and your discussion board is going to be about hacking the Internet of Things, just kind of what I alluded to earlier. You'll have a list where you can list out your likes and dislikes of the GDPR, and that'll be pretty clear as you go through the GDPR, some of the real problems it's causing organizations. And then there's, of course, a quiz, your final quiz. Next week, we don't really have a traditional class. We have a final exam, and there's two parts to the final exam. The first part to the final exam is just a quiz. It's just like what you've done. I will look through it, so if there's any gotchas because the quiz tool is so picky or something's not quite set up right, I'll be able to catch all of those. So just like I've done on the other quizzes, if there's anything that's gone wrong, I will be able to fix those. The other part is a written assignment of 300 to 500 words that uses at least 3 citations. So make sure you go out and get good citations and make sure you cite them properly in your write-up. That will cost you points if you don't do it. So the number one rule that I want you to remember is that if you put something in your reference list, it must be cited at least once in the body of your paper. If you cite something in the body of your paper, it must be listed in your reference list. So it's a one-to-one, at least a one-to-one relationship. So 300 to 500 words, I don't care if it goes a little longer, that's fine. And you're going to use 3 sources, and you're going to you're going to address a series of questions either on the Internet of Things or on cloud computing. It's your choice. You pick which one you want to address, but that will be the second part of your final exam. So the first part is just your general quiz. You'll answer questions just like you always have, but the second part is a written part, similar to some of the other writing assignments that we've done. I'm just going to caution you, I do want to see proper APA. I want you to get out of this class with, just having a good idea of why it's important that we do that. And also check your citations, make sure your citations are correct. Remember, when you're paraphrasing data or paraphrasing information from a source, then you just need the author's name and the year of publication. But if you're doing a direct quote, you do the author's name, the year of publication, and the page number where you got the quote. If it's an electronic form or an electronic format and you don't have page numbers, and oftentimes they don't have page numbers, then you simply count the paragraphs and you come up with a paragraph number where you got the quote. If you have any questions about the format of the citations or how you will deal with your reference list, check the Purdue OWL, the OWL network, which is basically your online go-to for anything APA. All right, so for this week and next week, I think you're all set. I will take a look at what you've submitted for the last week and also check through the quizzes. And then I think there's no gotchas, but if there is, go ahead and email me. I will be around. All right, thanks.